Here's the point cloud at Tina Court. So the yellow line here is the northern property line for the lot where the house will be built in this area. And just spinning this thing around. So the important features are this natural weathered rock face, this rock bluff here, as well as a bigger rock face below the lot. The northern property line goes from this point to this point. And the western property line goes from this point straight to this point. I have a other faint yellow line here. This is my recommended setback from the crest of this rock bluff. So no foundations to be built on the west or the lake side of this yellow line. And you get a sense for what that looks like. Of course, this bluff, which is not part of the lot, but adjacent to the lot, there's evidence that some large pieces of rock have come out of here in the past. And there are overhangs and open fractures and various features that give evidence that this rock face is relatively hazardous, but the hazard is really for anything built below. And you can see this scar area here is probably where something fell out of this rock face, relatively recent. But once we impose a setback, this yellow line again, we're far enough away that any future blocks that may come off of here are not going to impact the safety or the stability of the lot or the house above. Now, looking at this other rock face, it's got overhangs, it's got highly weathered and fractured rock, and the planned positioning of the house and the garage is very close to places like right here and here and over here. I think the best strategy is to remove some of this rock. So essentially chip away or find some other way of removing the rock up to this yellow line. So the yellow line starts in this little notch in the side of the rock face and carries around somewhat parallel to the existing surface of the rock face, but kicked back some distance. By removing that rock, hopefully we can minimize or eliminate some of these overhangs, and also remove, there's a fracture running up here, remove fractured rock that would be problematic to try to stabilize. So the strategy is to actually remove the hazard rather than spend a lot of effort on stabilizing the rock face. And there's a small little area right here where some joints kind of running parallel to the bluff are creating a spot where this rock could come out. So again, I think we should just chip that out. That's not a very big volume of rock. And then finally, getting closer to the property line, there is this heart-shaped piece of rock sitting on top of this planar, well, mostly planar joint surface, and obviously rock has come out of here already in the recent past. But I think this whole volume should be removed. There's overhanging pieces and it's highly fractured, so I think it would come down relatively quickly by using a hydraulic hammer on an excavator and just to pull that rock out of there. So some work to do on the rock face is my recommendation. And then after that material has been removed and the rock face has been exposed, it's worthwhile taking a look at the geological features, joints, and fractures that remain, because that still may be appropriate to install rock support like rock bolts or wire mesh to stabilize this rock cut. But getting rid of the highly weathered overhanging sections early on will be greatly helpful. Just one comment, I think someone's recommend taking out this danger tree. I think it's a good idea to remove that tree as well. Just make note that it's not on the lot, so permission from the neighbor is required. And I also will note that recent excavation activity in here has pulled out a lot of the soil and talus, colluvium that had accumulated in here. So this portion of the slope, the remaining soil, is now oversteepened and is going to be unstable. And it's going to continue to ravel down. And so whether we put a fence or some sort of structure here to try to keep it from crossing the property line, or small retaining walls, various options exist, but there's not a lot of soil in this area, but what is there is going to continue to ravel and come down into this part of the lot.